Viewer discretion is advised. What happens when you get two young and ambitious filmmakers trying to make a name for themselves are asked, what can you do to modernize this beloved cult classic zombie movie? The answer is yes. It's just yes. 2004's Dawn of the Dead is a zombie movie above the rest in its genre. The story starts slow, beginning to turn those gears until eventually it's a juggernaut, tossing zombies aside like yesterday's expired meat. This movie is a blast. It's also a very special movie thanks to being Zack Snyder's directorial debut, and the screenplay was written by James Gunn. The way this film starts, it really doesn't try and hold your hand when it comes to knowing the basics of zombies. But throughout the film, we'll be experiencing our characters learning what's happening and what causes people to become zombies. Our first main character is Anna, who's been working a long shift at the hospital, where we, as the audience, begin to see the classic signs of zombie attacks. But you could also play this up because it's a hospital. Once Anna gets home, she sees her neighbor, Vivian, a little girl trying to rollerblade. Anna promises her that they will go out rollerblading another day. Anna comes home to find her husband Louis drinking a beer and watching TV before it becomes sexy time. Why do we have this scene so soon? I don't know. Some executive probably really wanted to up the sexual nature of this film. And because Anna and her husband aren't watching the TV, they totally missed the national advisory about a massive attack. Morning comes, and Louis is awoken by Vivian in their house. First, she's a zombie already, missing half her mouth. Duh. And second, why are little girls able to just walk into your home? So Louise, thinking something is very wrong, tries to help Vivian when she attacks and rips his throat out with her baby teeth. The amount of blood in this movie makes me happy. Just paint it red, baby. Anna successfully locks the rabid Vivian out and tries to stop the bleeding, but it's too late, and Louis dies before her eyes. Trying to still make a phone call, Anna watches her dead husband, Louis, reanimate before her eyes, and he comes at her. Through the bathroom, out the window, Anna makes a run for her car. This is the moment where everything in my little 6th grade mind changed. Louis, as a zombie, jumps up onto the hood of Anna's car, and then proceeds to punch the windshield. The game has changed. One of the true uniqueness of this film is that the zombies have a ridiculous amount of aggression. They always had biting and scratching, but not running, punching, busting down doors, and turning doorknobs. Dude, these ghouls were a lot more lethal than we as a culture mistook them for. I also know there are those Puritans who think these evolutions of the undead are a bit tacky. They feel they veer shy of the traditions that technically zombies are just mindless slaves. Personally, I love this new look, and it makes the journey of survival very difficult for our survivors. Anna gets away in her car, seeing that the city is in flames and zombies are just wildly attacking people in the streets. This is the full-blown image of a zombie apocalypse in Midwest America. A random guy was trying to hijack Anna's car, which caused her to go off the road and down a hill, and straight into a tree, knocking her out cold. Cue title sequence. Enter Johnny Cash. The man comes around. Through the opening credits, we are given pieces about the zombie attacks across the world as the song plays. If you've got a Johnny Cash song in your movie, people are more likely to enjoy it. I'm just saying. Anna wakes up and follows a path when she meets Sergeant Kenneth Hall, a big guy with a big gun, and he's a cop. He's a good cop because he'll shoot at everyone equally. Anna keeps her distance from him but follows him as they continue down the path leading to 3 more survivors. Michael, described as our everyday man, Luda, a Russian woman expecting a child, and her husband Andre, who has street smarts. Together, the 5 of them decide to head over to a nearby mall to hold up and wait for help. The mall is the center location, and the plot will continue on into how these people can survive in a mall surrounded by zombies. They will encounter abusive mall cops, the risk of taking in unknown survivors, love and tragedy, and best of all, more zombie action. 2004's Dawn of the Dead is a terrific zombie film that deserves a 4 out of 5, but not without me acknowledging something awful in this film.
Shoot him in the head!
I mentioned Luda being pregnant. There's an attack that happens shortly after they enter the mall, and if you blink, you'll miss it, that she got bitten. Andre knows about it, but they try not to tell anyone. Most likely, they don't understand the repercussions a bite like this would take from their family and their community. Not yet, anyway. As we continue on with the survivors' time at the mall, they get to watch the last minutes of cable news explain that you'll need to aim for the head, burn the corpses, and not get bitten or scratched. Anna brilliantly picks up on this, and they effectively quarantine a middle-aged father from his daughter. Oh my god, this scene is just sad. The cop, Kenneth, is watching over this sick man who can't see his child for one last time slowly die. They exchange some dialogue which will mess with Kenneth's feelings later on. But imagine, you're in a room with a gun, waiting for a person you just met a few hours ago die, so they can come back as a zombie, and you can put them down permanently. Anyways, this helps Anna and the rest verify that bites from zombies can lead to death and more zombies. Andre is one of the people present to learn this information, which leads us back to his wife. Other members of the camp begin to notice and even mention to Andre on how Luda is doing, and he begins to get assertive over the conversation. Eventually one night, Norma, one of the newest members of the group, wanders over to the infant store where Andre and Luda have fashioned into a home. Norma notices the lights are off and she enters with her gun drawn. What Norma discovers is that Andre has lost Luda, but because she is reanimated as a zombie, he still hopes their child can be delivered. So Andre has tied Luda down to prevent her from attacking and to give birth, and she did. This sequence is what I call the birth of the undead, and it is a horrible and sad thing to go through. Not to mention the use of an infant in a scene like this is a line crossed in my eyes. I know some people are with me, while others are like, who cares? It's just a zombie movie. Come on, we've all had these questions. The funnest thing is how this movie goes about the zombie attack sequences. Instead of focusing on horror, it's shot more like an action movie with loud gunshots and high-pitched groans and snarls from the undead. There are also plenty of moments that involve large explosions and the use of fire. We even get to witness something way too fun. In the basement of this mall, the survivors found 2 buses that they have retrofitted into armored vehicles. One of the best designs I've seen was in this awkward flirt scene between Michael and Anna, where Michael shows her there's a slot on the side of the buses to run a chainsaw through to rip at any zombies trying to climb aboard. There's a nasty setback with this design, and that's the chainsaw. When the bus is at a halt because there are thousands of geeks rocking your bus, good time to use the chainsaw. When you're taking hard turns flying down the road, worst time to use the chainsaw. Things are working out for them. It's noticed at the beginning of the film that there's Andy's gun shop nearby, with old man Andy sitting on top of the roof snipering zombies. With the help of binoculars and whiteboards, Kenneth and the boys spend time outside with Andy, through games of chess and taking bets if Andy can shoot the zombie that looks the most like a celebrity of their choosing. I've mentioned there's a basement in the mall, right? Well, yes, there's lots of goodies and baddies stashed away in it, and it almost feels like a dungeon for our heroes to grind in to get better gear or level up. Something they found in there was a little dog named Chips. The theory is that Chips was able to survive in there with the goons because they feel no need to eat the dog. Meanwhile, as time passes, Andy grows hungry, and our team has no way of getting to him without some serious issues ahead. Yes, they hatched the plan. Red Rover, send little Chips on over. Chips makes it, but this alerts the zombies, who now break their way into Andy's gun shop. This rescue plan sequence is very video game-like, with tight camera work and non-stop tension, as our survivors travel through the sewers back up to Andy's shop. The group dynamic in this movie is an ever-evolving one. When Anna, Kenneth, Michael, Andre, and Luda make it to the mall, they meet the mall cops, led by CJ. Eventually, our team overthrows CJ and his pals, and they let in a truck of new people. Another shift, Michael, our everyday man, finds himself in a leadership role, making decisions on what's best for the team. Eventually, the power runs out, and they have to travel to the basement to find the generator. This is when CJ redeems himself and begins working alongside the rest of the team. So we can see Michael moved up in life and CJ found a heart. A character that never changed was Steven, a rich guy with the smuggest of faces. You might recognize him as one of the dads from Modern Family. Steven sucks, and offers very little to the group except for his boat. There are other characters, like I've mentioned, Norma, but these characters offer little to the story, and eventually, like all zombie movies, they meet their end.
Mother, get up, come on, get down with the sickness, you fucker, get up, come on, get down with the dick.
Now, the questions every zombie nerd has to ask. First, do we know what caused this outbreak, and do we know if it's a virus? The film makes this a little difficult to answer, being that it's an action movie and explaining science might bore the target audience. We know it's a virus because it's being transmitted through the exchange of bodily fluids. Once inside the new host, it rapidly shuts down the body, killing the host, allowing itself to revive and take over. What caused this? Zack seems to like to throw a lot of religious imagery in his works, and here it's very obvious. This is where he wanted you to go. When hell has filled up and there's nowhere else to go, the dead will walk the earth. But I caught something that just didn't make sense to me. After the Universal logo fades, we are greeted with this image of bright orange lines, almost like smoke, and as we pull away from this, it begins to form a mushroom cloud before fading into an X-ray of someone's skull. Nuclear warfare is not mentioned once throughout this film, so I find it very odd that someone would make the effort to have this imagery fade into a skull, as if someone behind the camera is saying, due to all the nuclear destruction humans have caused, the side effect is a zombie apocalypse. I also don't know if any of that was right. The second question. Have you ever found yourself sitting in a classroom or being at work, looking around at your surroundings, thinking, what could I do if there was a zombie apocalypse right now? As you can tell, I'm that kind of guy. This film delivers a treat with the mall being the anchor location. You have shelter, space, food, electricity for a while, and plumbing. How long can you hold up in this place before you have to get out? And how do you get out? The characters here probably spent a few weeks to a month in the mall before having to leave, and they left in those armored buses. Can you think of a way out? Write in the comments below. I love this movie, but it's not enough to say it's in my top 10 favorites. But I'm willing to say it's the best zombie film we've seen yet. And its lasting effects on other zombie projects are noticeable. I also want to mention I understand that this is a remake of the original film made by the zombie father himself, George A. Romero. I didn't watch it because I wanted to just focus on this film as a standalone piece. Maybe if this video gets enough attention, I might watch the remake for a comparison or something for Halloween. Thanks for watching, bye.